Hiya folks, I'm going to do this song for you. It's the first time I've played it live. It's called Me and My Friend Angie, and I've written it for my best mate Angie, Angela Martindale, who I met when we were 12, many years ago, when we used to go to a local youth club in the Birkenhead of North End of Birkenhead called the Turntable, known as the Turney to many a North Ender in Birkenhead who went there. And those that went there will have their stories to tell. It was a fantastic place to be growing up as a teenager. And it was Monday to Friday, 7 till 10. Thursday nights were the best with the discos, with the ultraviolet light and all the names of everybody who went out with everybody. And you know, my nickname was Didey, and it was Didey and somebody or other on the wall. I can't remember now, but there was lots of people's names on the walls. And on Thursday nights when the ultraviolet light would be on, it would they'd all light up. But it was a great place. It was run by Mr. and Mrs. Gould, Peggy and Brian Gould, and we were allowed to call them Peggy and Gouldy. And there was a powder room where all the girls used to go and hang out and chill out. We were in there for ages, gabbing, talking about lads and chewing gum and smoking and all looking in the mirror, doing your makeup, doing your hair, all that sort of stuff. And there was a coffee bar where you could chill out with all your mates and have a laugh and a natter and a cup of coffee or whatever, you know, and they had sold sweets and things like that. There was a pool table, a snooker table, a ping pong table, one of them football games where you turn the wheels and shoot the ball and that, you know, in the net. They had something called the annex, and in the annex it was just full of mattresses, and you could go there and bounce and do your headstands and your cartwheels and your back flips and front flips, and oh boy, you know, you were really sort of hot when you come out of there. It was like you'd done a workout, you know. And outside of the annex there was a netball and a five-a-side courtyard there with the markings, so that the lads could play five-a-side and the girls could play netball. And it was just a brilliant place. They had a TV room where you could go and sit in the TV room and have a ciggy. That was the place that you could have a ciggy. I smoked those days, you know. And the powder room was the other place that you could smoke. But one of the things that Peggy and Gouldy used to give people to do was reception duties, where you'd sit on reception with Peggy, and people would come in, you'd take the money and you'd mark people in the book, and you'd do that from 7 till 8, and if you did it you got a free cup of coffee and you got in free. So it gave you a little incentive, you know, and plus the fact it gave you some responsibility as well. It was a nice little role to do. And yeah, it was just a lovely place. And Thursday nights were the best, absolutely the best, because that's where all your tapping off and all that went on. If you had the eye for somebody, well, that would be it. It'd be on a Thursday night when the lights are dark and everybody's looking dead tanned because of the ultraviolet light and the white t-shirts and that. And it was just great. It was just a brilliant time. Now, one night when we were walking home from the tourney, that's a line in the song when you hear it, and we got to the top of Tollymash Road, and we turned into Norman Street, I think, and there was just me and Angie left. Now, I didn't know Angie, she didn't know me, and we got to the top of our road, and she went, "Do you live here?" And I went, "Yeah." And she went, "I live there," and it was like a V. And I went, "Wow." And she said, "Listen, I'm going tomorrow night, do you want me to call for you?" And I said, "Yeah, sound, you know, brilliant." So that was it really. And she did, she knocked for me, and she knocked for me every night. And we walked down to the tourney, and we walked home from the tourney. But in the in-betweens, the things we got up to, I mean, we never did anything to draw the police or anything like that. We always, never crossed that line. it was always childish, silly teenage stuff, you know, swinging on the rope over the lake and all that sort of stuff, and you know, Kirby and Nick Knock and all that, and running away, all that sort of devilment sort of games, you know. But we had some laughs. We used to have we used to roller skate as well. We'd be skating everywhere, you know, and we always loved the tarmac because it was great for the skates. But yeah, these were just a few of them. Climbing the rocks in the park, climbing the Nanny Goat Mountains, carving your name in the mountains when you got to the top with whoever you were going out with, and all this sort of stuff, you know. But anyway, enough of me going on, but this is for you, Angie, and I hope you like it. It's called Me and My Friend Angie, and it's about our childhood days. It goes like this. One night, me and my friend Angie, when we were walking home from the tourney, we started our journey and became good friends. We played True Dirt, Kiss, Commando, Promise, and we hung around with boys on bikes until late most nights. And then we had to be in for 10. We climbed the Nanny Goat Mountains and we carved our names in the rocks high above as we were in love with a couple of boys from the CB radio. Oh yes, oh these were fun days when we were growing up with our teenage ways. I remember me and my friend Angie, we used to go to the tourney on the Thursday nights, where we would wear whites so the UV lights would make us look bright when we were young. I remember one night we went to the fair in Birkenhead Park until dark, and then we had to be in for 10. We loved to go on the Speedway ride, and they played this song, and it went like this. One night, me and my friend Angie, we skated down to the tourney and then on to Lodi into the playground school, where we whacked the fool, skating up and down and going round and round. I remember one night, oh we climbed the rocks by the lake in the park until dark, and then we had to be in for 10. So there you go, that's just me on the acoustic, singing, me and my friend Angie, especially for you, Angela Martindale, my bestie since we were kids, since we were 12. I couldn't put everything in, all the things that we really did get up to, because the song had gone on forever. But we had some really, really lovely times growing up as a teenager. Me and my friend Angie, we'd go in the tourney, and I'm sure a lot of you North Enders out there can say the same. I hope you liked it anyways. This is the first take on it. Okay, cheers.